House Speaker John Boehner on this topic and many others. We got a lot to go through. How you doing, Mr. Speaker? And good morning,
Bill.
Welcome back to New York City. It's always good to see you in this town. But
it's nice to see you.
Thank you, and it's good to be back in New York as well. Terrific work by the FBI and the police, especially in the past 5 days of last week. That being said, based on what we're learning right now, did they drop the ball earlier on this case in 2012, 2011?
I think it's way too early to make that determination. I talked to Director Mueller yesterday. They're pulling all of their information together and facts together because we've got members of Congress and the American people interested in what the answers were. We'll get those answers soon enough.
Mike Rogers yesterday said the FBI was very prudent and very thorough and placed no blame on the agency, anything that happened over a year or 2 years or 3 years prior to that. Do we know that to be the case?
I don't know that to be the case at this point. But the FBI is going to have their opportunity to lay all of this information out before the American people, and then we can judge. But let's go back. Last week was a rough week for the American people, clearly a rough week for the people of Boston. And our law enforcement officials, both the local police, the state police, the FBI, the counterterrorism officials, I think did a marvelous job on behalf of our country. And as rough a week as it was for the people of Boston and the American people watching this, it was also clearly an American moment. Reminded that terrorism is something that we're going to live with for a long, long time to come. And secondly, when these events happen, America pulls together and strengthens our country.
I think we saw that in action in Boston. And I would agree with you based on watching that firsthand. Lindsey Graham says we need to up our game. You know, we're still at war. And now there's the big debate on spending right now. I mean, is this the time to cut Homeland Security spending or to go after that budget? Or what is your view on that? Because, you know, for 2 years now, you've been talking about debt and deficit spending. And in this sense, it all ties back together.
Well, what's driving our spending and driving our debt, the fact that there are 10,000 baby boomers like me retiring every day. 70,000 this week, 3.5 million this year. And Social Security, Medicare, there's no money there in those funds. It's all been spent. People are living longer, accessing Medicaid. So the real drivers of the debt primarily are our big entitlement programs that won't survive in their current form unless we make some changes. So it has really nothing to do with what we call the discretionary spending pot.
Understood. So Homeland Security spending is not touched.
Listen, we have to sequester because the president won't get serious about solving our big spending problem. He insisted on the sequester. They may have an impact, but I don't believe that it's going to affect our counterterrorism activities or affect the ability to protect the American people.
What about the immigration debate? There's a lot of talk right now that this would sideline that movement in the House or in the Senate or in Congress in general. Will it?
Well, it may for a couple of days until we understand, all right, what did our immigration system know and what didn't they know? What impact would this have on it? But primarily, I'm in the camp of if we fix our immigration system, it may actually help understand who all is here, why they're here, and what legal status they have.
Yeah, back to the defendant who apparently is recovering in a Boston hospital. An American citizen gained citizenship on September 11th of last year, 9/11/2012. Should he be an enemy combatant, or should he be tried in the court system?
Well, I think the important issue here is to get as much information as we can from him. One of the things that we've learned over the last 15 years is that we can learn a lot from the individuals, the information they have, their computers, their cell phones. There's a treasure trove of information. And the key here is to be able to get to it. And so whether you want to call him an enemy combatant or you want to use this public safety exception, the key is getting the information. To protect the American people, to learn whether others were involved, to learn more about how he got involved.
And to that end, are you okay with him not being read his Miranda rights?
I am. At this point, I think it's perfectly fine. Again, I don't think it matters under what exception. You can always Mirandize this individual. But the important thing is to get the information now.
Peter King is hot on the trail of at least 5 cases that he appears to talk about quite often, where the FBI knew of a known terrorist and did not take action before they tried to carry out an act here at home. Now, we're going to talk to him next hour, and we're going to pick up this topic with him. But you know, when you think about the cases that he's chronicled, is he right on that?
Well, this is where I think the committees of Congress, Peter sits on the Homeland Security Committee, you have the Judiciary Committee, you have the Intelligence Committee, all of which will play some role here in determining whether the FBI dropped the ball or didn't drop the ball. There's a fine line. If you're in America and you have a legal status, you're protected by American rights. And so it's a fine line that they have to walk, and we're going to have to make a determination how well they walk that line.
There are other matters we're going to talk about in a moment here. I appreciate you sticking around, okay? Speaker Boehner, more with the Speaker in a moment here after the break, including lawmakers pushing harder for answers into the Benghazi terror attack, what we can expect in the coming days on this topic. That will be breaking news. Martha?
Plus the budget cuts and why